Hello, screenwriters, and welcome to Writing for Screens, the Screenwriting Step-by-Step Project, episode 192. My name is Glenn Gers, and I come to you every Monday through Friday, if I can make it at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time Zone, to let you look over my shoulder, share my screen, as I write a script. I am doing this in order to teach a part of screenwriting that I feel is under-taught, which is the actual mechanical, day-by-day, step-by-step, line-by-line process of writing the script itself. Doesn't matter what kind of script it is. I'm not trying to show you how to write a great script, just to get a script written. The process of turning thoughts into scenes, into an outline, into a rough draft, into a rewritten, polished draft. That's it. It's a thing that you do whether you're writing a comedy or a drama, TV or movie. It's still taking thoughts and abstract things, putting them into words in script format. That's what I'm trying to show you by letting you watch me walk through it. And as I run into little challenges and things that you got to do during that process, I hope that that will be something that you can use for yourself. If it's helpful, take it. If it's not, don't worry about it. This is not the best way. This is not the only way. It's just the way that I figured out for myself in my 25-year career, writing for TV and movies. The rest of the stuff I figured out that way is here on my channel. I urge you to look at what I call the lesson videos. That's the first 3 sections on the channel. You'll see screenwriting essentials, screenwriting tools, skills, and craft, and the process, being a writer. These are all things where I've tried to take a topic. The topic is right there in the thumbnail in great big words, flashbacks, genre, whatever it is, and I tried to give you a little 10-minute bunch of helpful tips and insights. That's all I think anyone can do, because the rest of it is up to you. Every writer has to figure out their own style, their own process, their own goals, their own path. That's the truth of being a writer. I'm not going to lie and say it's easy, but I think the best thing to do is try and gather up all the tricks and ways that other people have done it, and you take the ones that you like. Use the ones that are useful to you. The ones that don't work for you, doesn't matter. Don't do it. Okay, hi Cyrus, hi Jean, hi Andrea, hi Mike. Okay, good. So, reading Flow again. Flow, it's a very good book on the mental process of basically challenging yourself enough to make it interesting, but not so much that it makes it difficult. A highly important concept. Mike is talking about that. I had mentioned it in one of my lessons, the book Flow. Hello, Natasha. So, yeah, I cannot stress enough how much process matters. The thing that I've learned with every project is a little different. There's always a new challenge. There's always a new situation. The thing that's most important is getting used to the process of creating the documents. I try to make that very ritualized. I did a couple of videos that I think are helpful about that. One is called Create a Ritual, and the other is Outline, Why Outline, and How to Outline, and Small Steps. These are all videos in that lesson section, and they're all talking about the fact that every project you work on, it's going to be its own set of difficulties, but everyone hopefully will be the same process, the same, okay, I've got to figure out what the scenes are, I've got to figure out who the characters are, and doing that in a familiar way will help you to deal with the uncertainty, which is what creating is all about. That's sort of what Flow is talking about too, the idea that by practicing things, by getting familiar with them, by doing them over and over again, by setting yourself small challenges, not saying I have to go from 0 to the top in one bound. It's a process, steps. So that's, hello, Jenny. Glad to see you here from the UK. So that's sort of stuff we're talking about here every day. I'm going to talk about two parts of the process today because I'm at a weird point. I have hit the parts of the process where I've really shown you pretty much everything I have to show you. And so I'm starting to wind it down, honestly. I'm going to start to wind this project down. I won't wind the live streams down. I'm going to keep doing the live streams, but I'm not going to be doing this project because this project is kind of getting repetitive. So what I started to do is get some progress, and I want to get them finished. I want to get the script finished and the other documents finished so that you can see them. You can see the finished work. However, the actual hours and hours, we've done 192 hours. It's time to stop. So as a result, one of the things I did was for this pitch document, which I showed you, let me get this. I was working on it full size. So, all right. So what I was doing there, I'm going to just make it a little bigger so that you can read it. I was working in 12-point type because when I work, I actually like to see the whole page. I work in 18 here for you guys so that you can see more clearly if you're reading on a phone or something. But if you remember, I had this document where I'm trying to pitch the project. Like if I was dead and somebody had to know what this series was about, this document would tell you the plan, what the theme is, what the style is, the genre, the main plot, the main characters. So the thing I did was I just reworked the opening paragraphs. I had like 5 paragraphs and I realized they were kind of repetitive. So I turned it into 3, I think, pretty good paragraphs. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I was doing this afternoon. Is taking those random thoughts I had thrown down in the rough draft of this document, and I started to smooth it out. I still have to do all this stuff. This is all the random stuff I've got. But at least the first 3 paragraphs are done. As I get closer to finishing it, I will show you the whole, I'll show you the thing, and I'll post it on my website so that you guys can read the whole thing and we'll talk our way through it. So that was part of what I was doing. And then the other thing I was doing was I started doing more work on the rewrite. And I actually left this, I started to rewrite this first paragraph. So in order to show you what I was doing, this is the original first paragraph. And it's very literary, it's very nice, but I decided to shorten it and make it more focused on the action. So whereas a pool of light in an endless darkness, which was very literary and beautiful, but I just said darkness in a pool of light, just trying to make it a little snappier, get some motion in there, get people into the story. And then I had takes a drag of his cigarette, exhales curls of conspiratorial smoke. And I just wrote, exhales smoke, taps the ash of his cigarette, and switches on his home podcasting set. I was trying to show actions instead of my own fancy literary voice. It's very tempting when you are writing to make your voice more important than the thing you're talking about. I have found in screenwriting that's generally not great. So, then I've, hello, Marta Latoso, good to see you. So now what I've got, the big problem of this scene, which is a monologue. George does a monologue, and then he gets up, goes out, and sort of blows away the mystery of this monologue, which is a dark figure in the light talking about a conspiracy, about a mystery. And then he turns out to be just a shabby guy doing a podcast from his garage. He goes to get himself a snack, comes back. When he eats the snack, he gets poisoned and died. So that's the scene. The problem is I was also trying to layer in a lot of information so that the audience knew what he was talking, like what the story is about. And the problem I've gotten myself into with that is a good introduction speech. Oh, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to finish the script and finish the document with Dundosky. I'm going to figure out Dundosky's fate and clear up his story, but I'm not going to make you watch another 200 hours. I think there's more valuable things. I'm finding that while it's fun to watch me write, most of the time the value that you guys seem to be getting is often the questions and answers, and I'm getting a lot of questions in the comments and in emails, and I want to do more of that Q&A stuff. I also want to talk a little bit about other work I've done, and I'm thinking about talking about some other topics, articles I've read about the business and about creativity. So thank you, Gene. So anyway, that's the plan for the big picture. But my big problem with this first scene, and I've really been stuck on it, is if I do the opening monologue as an introduction to the serial killer, that would mean that it's the first podcast. However, George is supposedly murdered because he has been podcasting about this topic. So it doesn't make any sense for him to be explaining who the serial killer is. So I've got to find a way for him to talk about how the serial killer works, but without making it the first introduction of the topic. As much as I like that, this is just a real simple case of killing a darling. Kill your darlings is the famous quote attributed to Faulkner, among other other writers. What it means is sometimes you will cling to something because you love it personally, because you are proud of the work you did, because it took a lot of effort, because you thought it was cool. Whatever it is, it may not serve its purpose in the work. And if it does, you have to, quote, kill your darlings. Not really my favorite term, but accurate. All right. So what I've got to figure out here is what would the purpose of the main thing he's got to get here is that he is going to expose new evidence of the killer. That's the thing that we've got to understand most of all. Yeah. I realized I had done that the killer had 11 victims, killed 11 people, and he was 11 years old. It's one of those things that happens when you're writing. Just something gets stuck in your head, and therefore you put it in again without realizing it. Just numbers, names, colors, whatever it is, words. Once they're in the document, once you've used them, they become part of your subconscious understand, like it's this little echo chamber, and you accidentally use them again. So I was just catching that. What I'm thinking is this is the speech that matters. He's saying, it was my first serial killer, it was important to me, and then he stopped, and now it's a cold case, and I am basically talking to no one. That's the place where he goes to, it's all going to change. Now the question is, how much hello, Kirby. The question is how, if I start with that, Oh, lots of people coming in. Hello, Larry. Hello, Studio Saskia. I think I've never seen you before. Hey. Hi. Uh, so the point is, if I take this out, and then I'm going to have to put some here. Now I've also got this idea of describing the killer, describing the effect of the poison, which is another, like whatever that opening is, just like the opening of The Godfather, there's a speech where a character who's really not that important, but he talks about "I believe in America" as the first line, and he talks about how he's an immigrant, but his daughter was attacked by some men, and the justice system has not given him justice, so he's coming to Don Corleone. The point is that this is a speech. It's done sort of hypnotic. It's a daring move to start a story with a speech. But it can be very cool as long as that speech clearly sets a tone and hooks us in and helps us to get into the suspense of the story. My problem here is I've got a speech with too many sections to do that. So I'm trying to figure out which one, because I could do the story of this is a good personal, this is the effect this story had on me. So I've got some darlings here. I have to decide which one. See, this is a long setup of the thing that you do with murder stories is you watch the victim living their life, doing their stuff, and then all of a sudden they get killed, in this case by a sandwich. That's another good hypnotic, suspenseful beginning of a story. But I can't have two separate ones. I can't have two hypnotic beginnings. I have to choose one. Let's see what happens. What happens if I move some of this and give it? When Murray Simpson I was 9 years old when Murray Simpson in August 1978 Yes, thank you. I'm definitely advanced past the "well, Mary, as you know, the serial killer is blah blah blah." I definitely am more skilled than that. The problem now is I have two different skilled tricks, and I'm trying I'm actually going to try and blend them a little. For instance, yeah, I think we can take that out and just put when the chemistry set killer hey Orphe, how are ya? When Murray Simpson died. The chemistry set killer. Yeah, when Murray Simpson died. When Murray Simpson died. He was a florist in Perkins, Tennessee. Came home from work one day. When Murray Simpson, he was a florist in I was 9 years old in August 1978 when Murray Simpson, a florist in Perkins, Tennessee, came home from work, made himself a sandwich, No, that's a little too much too fast. I was 9 years old in August when Murray Simpson made himself a sandwich. Made himself a sandwich after work. He was a florist. The chemistry set killer. Chemistry. Oh, that's wrong. Chemistry set killer. Broken in days or maybe even weeks before, and laced a jar of mustard with a unique mixture of plant toxins. Okay, let's see. Hi, Ms. Robin M. I have never talked to you before. Glad you are here. We are just working. I am working my way through working my way through this opening scene, this tricky opening scene. Yeah, I'm trying different things. From roller skating after work at Al's roll. Oh, I do like that. I was 9 years old in August 1978 when Murray Simpson, a florist in Perkins, Tennessee, came home from roller skating after work at... that's too many things. All right, I was 9 years old in August 1978 when Murray Simpson, a florist in Perkins, Tennessee, made himself a sandwich after work. CSK. Okay. What I'm thinking is, can I from work and made himself. Yeah, no, it's from work. Came home from work and made himself a sandwich. There we go. That's good. All right, so now let's try this speech. Oops, sorry. I was 9 years old in August 1978 when Murray Simpson, a florist in Perkins, Tennessee, came home from work and made himself a sandwich. The chemistry set killer had broken in days or maybe even weeks before and laced a jar of Murray's mustard. Murray's mustard sounds like a brand. Laced a jar of Murray's Simpson's. A jar of mustard in Murray Simpson's cabinet. Murray Simpson's kitchen. Yeah. Okay. I was 9 years old in August 1978 when Murray Simpson, a florist in Perkins, Tennessee, came home from work and made himself a sandwich. The chemistry set killer had broken in days or maybe even weeks before and laced a jar of mustard in Simpson's kitchen. Simpson's kitchen with a unique mixture of plant toxins. And promptly died. Yes, but I want to get some more. In fact, All right, I think that there was a part here, yeah. The killer. Use it again. The poison itself was the only thing the murders had in common. His signature. Yeah, that's all we need. There we go. Okay, so that goes up here. That's better. That's got enough flow to it, enough menace. Because what we need to do is build menace. I mean, imagine, here's the thing you have to picture. Movie starts. There's a guy sitting in darkness, smoking a cigarette with the cone of light around him, a pool of light, and he's talking into a microphone and he's giving the speech. And probably they're moving in closer, but I'm not going to say that because who knows? Anyway, the point is I've got to have that story be something that is detailed enough at the start, but spreads out so that we know what the threat is, the problem. So in this case, a sandwich, an innocent sandwich, a jar of mustard, and then we move into the idea that he's going to do it again. It's going to be lots of people. Ooh, and the poison is the only thing, the signature. Okay, then take a break, and then he explains why he's telling us. All right. This is better. Because remember, he's 9 years old. So, because that's how we started. The CSK killed 11 people and then just stopped. Vanished. In 1985. Now, poof, now. We're up to now. It's a cold case. No one cares. No one is listening to this podcast. I love that. He's like sitting there all alone talking into the dark and no one is listening. I know that. I have 14 subscribers and 10 of them are people I know from the. I like that he's telling us what Crime Crackers is. Remember, Crime Crackers, it's a little silly. So this is like pointing out what it is. Tell your friends. Tune in. Be part of it. Tune in. I like that he says tune in because it's such an old school thing. All right. Yeah, it is better, isn't it? Finally, it's a little better. I still got some work to do on it. In 5 more episodes, in 5 weeks. In 5 weeks, 5 more episodes. Reveal new evidence, identifying. I don't love that the speech goes over the edge of the page onto the next page without a break, but I think I got to do it. So for the moment, I'm going to leave it like that, especially because this is the most important thing and it goes over the page break. But I think it's what it's got to be. All right. Yep, that's better. All right. I don't think it would, because that's a lot of words. It's a lot of syllables. It may be more accurate, but I think that when heard, it's too clear. It's what he's saying is human evil in humans. So we have human evil. Although, interestingly, that's a good point. Human evil may actually be hard to hear, because it may sound like boll weevil or something. Oh, human evil. Human evil. Actually, boom. Became aware of evil. The first time I became aware of human evil. No, I'm going to leave it. I think you can say that in such a way that it's understood, and the capacity for it's too intellectual for my taste. There is certainly, Phil, a good argument for what you're saying, but there's something for me that's a little more conversational about it, and I need to feel like this guy is just talking to us, even though obviously he's working his show. But okay. Okay. Because the studio is there we go. I was saying studio too many times. With a grinding noise, a garage door opener lifts one entire wall, revealing the studios. Revealing the studio as all right. Satisfied is overdoing it. Yeah, I think that's simpler. We're in, like, sometimes when you stop to say the describe it, the dark silent studio, you actually take away, like, we're already there in our minds. Revealing the studio to be. I don't like to be, but I think that revealing that the studio is actually that the studio is actually. Yeah, right, that's not bad. Not bad. How are you guys doing? I didn't actually think I would get this far, but look at that. I have got the first scene to where it kind of works. I think tune in is still weak. Tell your friends. I don't want them to say it's going to be big. That's so cheesy. George isn't cheesy like that. All will be revealed. We're going to get him. We're going to get him. That's it. We're going to get him. Tell your friends. We're going to get him. Yeah, that's it. There we go. So it seems like it's very aggressively threatening. Okay. Ten of them are people. Yeah. Okay. That is not bad. Now, this is part of my process, which many of you, I've talked to you a lot about the process. When I get to the end of a scene, I need to stop and clear my head. I mean, yes, I could like keep going. The truth is, right now, I have been in this fabulous place. I need to, and I'm beginning to feel like, like what running downhill feels like? It's a very dangerous feeling when you're running downhill because you eventually you're going so fast that you start to lose, you trip over yourself and you go tumbling. That's how I often get when I'm writing. I will be like in the zone, in the flow, as Mike was telling us before, talking about the book by, I cannot say the guy's name, Czeslowski. There's a book called Flow, Flow, about the process of working in a creative and productive sense at the edge of pushing yourself so that you're pushing yourself hard enough so that it's exciting and interesting, but not so hard that you get overloaded or frightened, or you simply go try and work beyond your abilities. So in fact, I know that after getting something right, after having done these 2 pages, I need to actually stop for a minute. There's different people who work different ways. I know other people who are like, if they are in the zone and they go out of the zone, they can't get back. For me, actually, I can't stay in. I'll start to fall down. But if I go wash my brain a little with something, drink some water and look at a different perspective and let my brain air out a little, when I come back, I start again. I do the same thing. I get into the moment. But I was just in the moment, and now I'm in a different moment. And for me, that actually needs to be 2 separate little writing sessions. They don't have to be 2 separate days. I could come back in 10 minutes. But I do need to step away, which is convenient because we're in the last 10, 15 minutes of this live stream. So therefore, if anyone has a question, now is the time to ask it. In the meanwhile, let's see if there's anything else I can show you. Can I do? I think we kind of Cyrus actually, who's here. Cyrus Avery. I don't know if you're still here, but he was here earlier. He asked, "Am I going to, when I finish this, give you the PDF?" Yes. Not only am I going to give you the PDF of everything I have been doing. Every few weeks, I try and stop, export a PDF of what I have done so far, and post it on my website. So let me see if I can show you here on my website. This is a screen capture sort of my website. The top panel is purple, will fill your whole screen. If you go down, that's what that black arrow is for. You'll go past this yellow page, and then you'll get to a grid of boxes. Each box is actually a button, and if you click the bottom right, the one that's marked Creative, go there, click on that, and you will find, you will then find yourself on a page called Creative, and there is there's a checkerboard of different tiles. Each tile is a button leading to a different project. there's one that says latest draft outlines of the UK PK, which is now Crime Crackers. If you click on that, you will get to all the drafts. So there you go. That's how you can find it. Okay. Thank you, Natasha. That's very kind. Hello, Christian Koenig. It's very nice to meet you. How often do you read through the whole script? Oh, see, this is interesting. It's actually hard to read through the whole script. I tend to read sections at a time. My guess is probably 10 at least, maybe 20. I mean, I go back and read through it a lot. I usually don't read through the whole script because I just start getting like into the various scenes. But I go through the script. I rewrite from, I go back to it and rewrite 10, 20 times at least before it's considered a first draft. I would never consider my actual first draft a first draft. I go through it, at least 10 times, probably 20. What will be the next project at Writing for Screens? What I'm going to do is a couple of different things. One, a lot more AMAs, talk a little bit more, I think, about, I've been thinking about how you guys don't seem to know much about screen history. And the thing about screen history is it shows you unbelievably different possibilities. There is so much, and a lot of it's old, a lot of it's inaccessible, but I think it might be a useful thing to talk a little bit about stuff from the early times of movies, from the last century, from the 20th century. There's some valuable stuff in there, and you might not know about it, so I think I might point out why certain things happened and why there are certain conventions which we take as like, oh, that's how movies are. It's not how, like the camera and the film do not require you to have 3 acts. So I'm thinking of getting into that. Yes, I'm also going to get into what Christian is asking about, Fracture. I'm going to talk about different projects I worked on. I will post the scripts on the website and talk about them. Fracture was a job. I was a working writer in Hollywood. My agent, producer came to my agent, said, we need a good writer to do a rewrite. We need someone who's clever and good at complicated plots. That's me. My agent gave this producer one of my scripts. The producer liked it. So they had already had 2 writers on it. There had been an original writer who developed the story with the producer, came up with a lot of the basics of the plot that are still there. And then another writer had tried to rewrite it. And then and this happens often. I can't remember how much. I think it was 19 writers on most big studio projects now. You'd be amazed how many people are hired to work on scripts. Anyway, so the answer is I was hired to rewrite somebody else's script. I ended up doing that repeatedly. When you talk about how many times did I go through that script, that one at least 50, probably more. I will get into this. I'm going to do a whole live stream about Fracture. I'm going to do one about Off-Seas. I'm going to do about many of my scripts. How is important is the description of the place where the scene is happening or going to happen? I'm stuck in that. I have found it's less and less important. It's important here, let's look at the one I just did. How this is the whole thing. This is the entire description at the beginning. Which is just darkness, pool of light, the guy. Later, I do this. So all told, the description is about 8 or 9 lines. It feels like you have to describe everything. I am always tempted to describe everything because I can imagine everything and you want people to see it. But the truth is, if the description is not tied to the narrative, it's very hard to read description. People in script reading land hate reading description. So I would say what's important is that anything you're describing be part of what's unfolding in the narrative. For instance, in this, I describe the details of the garage at the end when it's a reveal in the story, as opposed to just saying at the beginning, this is what when you do a play, you describe the entire stage. It sometimes takes like 2 or 3 pages. You describe everything you want to do, and then from then on, they just play it out. That's how plays work. It's not how screenplays work. Screenplays, you try to describe things as the characters are interacting with them, or as they have there's an introductory beat where you get a first impression. Sometimes if it's going to be a place you're going to use a lot, that has a lot of detail, you might describe a lot. But honestly, 2 or 3 lines, 4 or 5 lines tops is all I would describe most things, unless you're actually trying to stop the reader and say, slow down, take in this picture before the action starts. If you're trying to stop the action, then you want a big hunk of description. Very rare. At what point would you be satisfied? It's weird. You get to a point. Like I said, for me, I've probably gone through it 10 or 20 times at least. And every time I go through it, I'm changing things. And I will keep doing that for some weeks yet. I'm just not going to show you every single step. But I will get to the point where I am mildly satisfied with this one, and I will have gone through it at least 10 times. The point at which you're satisfied is the point at which you like the choices you've made. Now, that's hard for a lot of people, especially when you're starting out. You don't feel confident. Do I like it? Is it good? Is it right? So all I would say is you make your best guess for what you as a reader would like. That's the best way to be satisfied. And also know it's not final. It's going to constantly be changing. Thank you, Matt. I think it will be cool too. Javier, there you go. Anytime. So yeah, those are, see, the questions are, I would happy to answer them. I did not know that we would go there, but they're all good. So yeah, we will pick this up again Monday. Let me just check my calendar to be sure I am not lying to you. Am I here Monday? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. All right. So have yourselves a great weekend and go write something.